Hey everybody, let's take a look at how to make broken beats and also talk about what makes a beat broken. Before I go any further, I'll just say that links to everything that matters, links are below, my Patreon and my mixing and mastering service, my music and stuff. Let's push on with this. I will be using Addictive Drums to... One reason for that is that at least I won't run into any copyright issues. I'm definitely not an Addictive Drums master or anything. I could use a lesson on that, but I'll touch some basics. This is definitely not like a master class on Addictive Drums, but I like its sound and I know the basics on how to use it. This type of stuff I want to be doing. And it translates to different tempos nicely. It sounds so funny when you go down to like 125 and then come up to 170, but I would say these type of beats work fairly well at 170. And this is the type of drum and bass that I've been doing for years. Maybe it's a little nicer when you go slightly slower. Anyways, if that type of drum and bass with this type of drumming is your thing, link to my Bandcamp is below. A lot of drum and bass that uses drums like this. But let's talk about what makes a beat broken. I'm just gonna do a new MIDI clip here, and I'll just close this for now. Let's start here. Let's start with something really basic. Let's start with something that is not broken at all. And let me slow down a whole lot. Okay, this is not broken. Let me add a snare. This will do nicely. So I'll put snares on 2 and 4. So this is not broken. We're going to have to break it a little bit. Let me add a hi-hat too. This will do. What I like about this instrument is that you actually do have multi-sample drums, which means that velocity or how loud you play it has an effect on the sound, and you also have different hi-hat sounds. Or actually, let me correct myself, not just different hi-hat sounds, but different sounds for all the parts of the drum kit. So there are different hi-hats for sure, and also velocity has an effect. So let me try. I'll get to that later, but let's do this. Let's break this beat soon. So this is not a broken beat yet. This is like fully intact. So this is like a basic disco beat in a way. And in a way, drum and bass and broken beats kind of they were born out of this. So how are we going to break this? Your typical broken beat, where do you start breaking it? I am going to move this kick and this. Let's listen to this, or let me actually do it to here. Let me do this here. I'll add a hi-hat. Let me just actually loop this part. Let me compare these two sections. I could even now, let me just make it a drum and bass tempo. It sounds fairly standard drum and bass. So let's examine this second bar. What did I do? I moved the kick. And also so the third kick moves, and I also muted this hi-hat because with this hi-hat pattern it sounded kind of funny that it happened at the same time with the kick. So So here you have it. What makes for a broken beat? Well, simply put, the kick doesn't have a standard pattern. Here you see the kick actually, that like what would be the third kick of the bar actually moves to the right by an eighth note. Eighth note means that this rhythm has been now divided into 8 parts. So it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So the kick moves to the right by an eighth note, and that technically makes it a broken beat. So you could think that in this pattern, the kick and hi-hat that I had here just switch places. That's the only difference here. I could actually demonstrate it by this. So at some point in history, somebody has done this and realized that, hey, it actually sounds a little more interesting. Let's just take this a little further. I'll just copy this. Let's do this here, and let me duplicate. I'm gonna break this beat a little more. I'll stay in eighth note editing. You can see eighth note here and the bottom right. So I'm going to change this last part, like the last 2 eighth notes. What I do often in my music is my snares don't always fall on 2 and 4 like they do here. The 2 and 4, because it's like 1, 2, 3, 4. So I'm going to move this and this hi-hat. So basically I'm reversing these here. And I also have to mute the kick because I don't know, this I cannot explain why, but it just sounds wrong. This sounds fairly okay, right? So I haven't done that many changes comparing to the actual straight beat. I changed these, I reversed these, and I also reversed these 2. And I muted the kick here. So then I'm gonna break it a little more. Let me try reversing these. By the way, this should have been muted. I'm sorry. I'm going to do this. The kick actually works nicely here. Yeah, so definitely I'm sorry I forgot to mute the kicks when they play at the same time with the snare. I don't want it to happen. It shouldn't happen, but hey, now it works. I'm going to switch these, or reverse, flip these 2 as well. So I could now make it a little faster. One thing that this beat needs, in my opinion, especially when you want to add a little energy, is ghost notes. And what are ghost notes? Let's see. Ghost notes work in 16th notes, so they're usually like they add to the rhythm. You're going to hear soon. It's actually easier for me to do than talk about it. So let me I'll do here, and it's not, ghost notes are not as strong as the main snare, because I want to do ghost snares. Yes, so after many of the hi-hats, there's going to be a ghost note. You You can also have ghost kicks. So I'm doing 16th note editing. So ghost notes, I usually make quieter than the actual note. Like if I have a ghost kick, it's going to be quieter than the actual kick. Ghost snare is quieter than the actual snare. This could be a snare. I cannot explain why, but it just sounds good. I could also have a ghost snare here. This could work. This kind of just, sometimes I feel like if you have a strong snare after the ghost snare, in some points it doesn't work, and this is where I fail to explain why. I don't have any musical theory behind my drumming. It's all come from listening to hip hop, which came from funk, and I've actually later on, around 20, I started listening to funk. So I cannot say that I was listening to funk when I was in my teens. I didn't do it. I didn't have any access to any funk. I lived in the woods. So later on, I moved to the city and I started discovering funk. So that has kind of enhanced my understanding of drums. But the thing is, like, I cannot give you a rule as to why it happens. Or like why, I mean, this could kind of work, but I'm gonna do this. I'll make this a hi-hat. Jungle music does a lot of this, like ticka 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 ticka. It's I've always felt that jungle music leans heavily on using ghost snares a lot. That's like, I cannot explain it any further. Like I literally cannot put any equation or rule to that. But it's jungle music does it a lot, and it comes from funk. I think jungle it's definitely more intense than funk. Maybe it gets a little more crazy depending on your style. Some people just get like ticka ticka ticka. It's everywhere. I think when you show a little restraint on that, it's gonna work better. Like sometimes I hear stuff where people just go crazy, and just that's fine. But my style has always been, most of the drums that I do lean on like natural drumming patterns. So it means that if I slow this down, it's gonna sound fairly natural. This is a clip that I did before I started the video. The first clip here works better. Let me actually join these two clips. I think the first clip actually, like the first two bars, sound better to me. Let's go through it real quick. You hear the difference? The reason is that the snares in the first two bars play louder. There's more energy, and like I said. Let me actually just make this loud. And it's also a different snare. It's not just loud. I think these could be, my ghost snares are, let me just change these, because like I said, Addictive Drums it's a multi-sampled kit, so you're going to have different sounds on different notes, and this is why I like this this instrument, because you have this variety. So like this is definitely, there's a great energy here. It sounds different, but then again, you could do variety. Like if you want to do realistic drums, you want to do a little bit of the velocity variation and also variation in tone. So this could work. Also my hi-hats here, I'm just gonna go full blast loud. It just works better. So it works fairly well, I would say. So then again, of course, you could have, or like if you were using this, you could have different tones and velocity for the different sections, because in electronic music we often go full blast and looping all the time, but this instrument, it's nice because you can do this velocity tone variation. So you're able to do a little variation, and it just sounds more natural. A lot of producers these days don't care. A lot of producers have one kick, one snare, no variation, and that's just kind of fine. Like the totally techie style has never been my thing. No disrespect, I massively appreciate all the stuff that everyone does. What I like is this more organic type of vibe. Like my backbone is in hip hop, and that's where a lot of the music that I like kind of comes from. And also not just hip hop, but even electronic music. I like this organic sound. Like I've never liked really bleepy or like very drum machiney type of sounds. But if you've heard my music, you know what I'm talking about. Enough about me. Let's take a quick look about Addictive Drums. I've been thinking I maybe want to do a little video just getting deeper with this. And by the way, I've also been thinking maybe I should put out some of these drum loops to my Patreon subscribers, because I want to do a few variations and then just do audio clips of these. Or if you have Addictive Drums, I could put the MIDI clips there. On my Patreon, I do exclusive stuff. Some is free, some is only available to subscribers, but I've kept the prices fairly low, so should be good for everyone. But let's take a quick look here. So you get to edit these and kind of mix each element. And let's see this. I bought 3 kits. By the way, I have paid for this. This is not a paid commercial. But let me see. You can switch let me switch a snare. I love doing this. This is like if you were doing techie drum and bass, wouldn't this be like a thing? That is effing intense. It's kind of silly, but it's crazy amazing at the same time. Dude, I love this. And it's like you can buy more. I forgot where it's done. Like I said, I'm not a master. I forgot where it's done, but I swear there's like a screen where you can see them all. I forgot where it is. And hey, yo, I messed up. I don't even know if there's an undo. Like I said, I could use a masterclass in this, so let me reload my project. Okay, I'm back. I reloaded the project. I spent like 4 minutes trying to find a screen. I swear I've been to a screen where you see all the possibly available elements as a list, and it shows the ones that are unlocked, because there's so many kits and different styles of kits. But I cannot find it. I don't know where it is, but I'm just saying there's so many different types of kits. I bought the 3 most organic sounding ones, like the R&B, and this is like R&B kit and funk kit. Some words about editing. It's nice. Here you can touch the level. And also you can get to this edit screen. You can also mess with the level here. And level wise, for example, there's a few different things to consider. You have overhead level, so you have the overhead mics for the kids, so it's pretty realistic. And then you have room and bass. You can solo this, so you can hear how the overhead mics sound. And you have different processing for them. You have noise. I haven't used this before. Oh, it's okay. So some literal noise there, compression, EQ, tape, and shape. And you have similar processing for all the different separate sounds. So you can set the level of overhead mics, for example. I'm just going to crank it. You can solo it. And the room mic. I don't like a very roomy sound in this type of drums that I do, so I like it kind of dry. Whew. But it does sound good. And then the boss, like, I guess the whole thing goes through boss processing. And here you have the level and the processing for that. It's the same tools that I pointed out. This is actually kind of aggressive compression and distortion and tape. So if you want to add some aggression, this could be a nice tool. Definitely gets kind of more electronic in a way. Obviously it's organic, but it's kind of pushed to all the drum and bass guys. You have sound effects. So for example, I can hear I'm sending the snare to FX1 and 2. So let's activate FX2. That's actually fairly interesting. So here you can see them. So it's delurb, I guess. So I guess it's like delay and reverb. And the second instance, I like a fairly natural sound, so this would do. And you get to mix this, like each sound. You have different like tonalities, tone options like buzz and top bottom. This is like how I guess it's like how it's rattling. So the level of detail is fairly nice. I guess it's, I'm not sure if this is like a mic placement towards top or bottom or where the drum stick hits, but dude, I love this type of detail. It's amazing for crafting your own kits. So in a nutshell, this is how it works. I know this is kind of fast, but get it. Like if you like to do drums of your own, do it. I like how organic everything is. Let me actually just to finish this, let me just I'm gonna change the kit as I go. So let's do this. Like I accidentally did this earlier, and I even love this sound. I could beef this up and change the sounds. And there's kits that I don't own, like I didn't buy rock and pop. If I had them, they would play. But there's so many options. Might just be worth checking all of them out. I think you can check them out on the site. Jazz, dude, metal, whew. So crazy. There's so many that they all have their distinct sound. This looks interesting. So anyways, I love this one. This is not an ad. I bought it. I might just actually look into some of these kits because probably some more creative stuff here. Anyways, I hope you liked it. Let's get busy. You get busy doing some broken beats. Any questions, hit me up. If you want to get more specific about things, join me on Patreon. Ask me there. Till the next time, guys. Bo.